Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. You've heard me use the phrase performative extremism before. Performative extremism is when you see some clown engaged in a blatant, over-the-top display of anti-black racism, not because they think that it's good policy or because they even think that it will be successful, but because they're putting on a perverted show meant to demonstrate to everybody how much they hate black people. And when they do it, it has to be something extreme. Because anything reasonable, anything intelligent simply wouldn't do. They have to do something that will surprise people with how blatant and egregiously anti-black racist it is. Because that's the point of doing it. Performative extremism isn't about being rational. It's not about trying to get some sort of policy instituted. It is not some means to an end. It's an end unto itself. The people who do it don't care that it's not going to accomplish anything. It's not meant to. Because it's not about a policy. It's about sending a racial message. Now, whether it's trash like Ron DeSantis on the right or clowns like Barack Obama and Negro Jim Clyburn on the left, they all draw from the same well and they do it for the same reasons. And we see this behavior even outside of politics. Whenever you see a Stephen A. Smith, or a Jason Whitlock, talking about how black people are our own worst enemies, and what about us, and what about black on black, they're doing the same thing as these political adversaries. Everybody's operating out of the exact same playbook. They're attempting to appeal to a white supremacist audience, so they make a show out of getting in our faces. It's never the wrong time or the wrong place for them to tell us off. When DeSantis puts into place laws that he knows from the very beginning are damned to be overturned in court, he does it for the same reason that Michael Bloomberg did it in New York. For the same reason Barack Obama made it a point to upbraid and lecture black men on Father's Day about every black man being a no-good baby daddy. All of them want to make it a point to show white supremacist audiences that it's not about policy to them, it's about sending a message. And I highlight what it is the Democrats are doing because it's easy to see and call out the performative extremism from the white right because they make it crystal clear that what they're doing is a broadside attack on us. And the left-leaning part of the white media are willing to admit to that. But when you have an Obama calling himself lecturing black men on Father's Day, when you have Biden saying if you can't decide whether or not to vote for him, then you ain't black, when you have Kamala Harris saying she's not going to do anything that only benefits black people, that is performative extremism. They don't just talk at us, they talk down to us, they condescend to us, they insult us openly, and they make a show out of it. Whenever they turn down one of our demands, they can't just sidestep our demand or throw a word salad at us. They have to make a show out of telling us they're not going to do anything we want, and how dare we even ask. When they come at us telling us to vote for them, they don't ask politely. They don't tell us what they're going to do. Instead, they insult us. Vote for me or you ain't black. And this is how we get treated by the political party who the white media would have us believe represents us. Because they don't talk like that to any other group. They don't treat any other group like that. Every other group is treated as a constituency that has to be catered to. Every other group is treated with respect. What Democrat has ever gone into a Jewish synagogue, or a Hispanic church, or an Asian church, and on Father's Day played to stereotypes that these groups don't take care of their children? They would never do it. So why do they do that with us? These bootlicks who go overboard trying to prove what suck-ups they are to white power, but they always make sure to do it at our expense. But here's the dirty little secret about performative extremism. It's really not extreme at all. In fact, it's regular, it's typical, it's expected. Attacking black people is the norm. Actually doing what we tell people to do, that's the exception. When politicians are running for office, they're not running against their political opponents. Both political parties are running against us. Republicans run on the platform of attacking us from the outside, and Democrats run on the platform of keeping us in line from the inside. One party pledges that they're the best ones to tear us down if we try to rebel, and the other party pledges that they'll keep us from getting any ideas of rebelling in the first place. It's a distinction without a difference, and yet the white media and the bootlicks planted in our communities want us to think that there is some difference. And the public understands that's what this is, and they're fine with it. Black people being repressed and oppressed reassures everyone else that the racial pyramid is still standing because everybody else is over us in that pyramid, and their own positions within the pyramid are not under any threat. Everyone is standing on our shoulders. All we have to do is move, and it all comes down. The reason why this performative extremism continues is because we have not organized ourselves to be able to make anyone who tries it pay a price. Yet. Oh, we've had some good days, like when Brown Chapel AME Church turned its back on Bloomberg the bigot. That's a good start, but it's not nearly enough. It's time to meet their performative extremism with a little performative extremism of our own. A get-in-their-faces style of demands. No wasting time trying to come up with a persuasive argument. They already know what we want, and it doesn't matter how we phrase it. No more trying to prove how courteous we can be. We will never be nice enough to get them to actually give in to common decency. We're in a fight for our very lives, and you don't win a fight for your life by being the nicest. You win it by being uncompromising. A lot of people have found a comfortable place under white supremacy, and their comfort is based on how uncomfortable we are. As we begin to get in people's faces, a lot of folks who had previously been quiet will suddenly start getting mouthy with us. I don't want you to even worry about that. I want you to expect it. Too many of us are ultra hypersensitive to criticism from outside groups, and when we start to see more people suddenly speaking against us, a lot of you are going to be tempted to think, well, this is some sort of new development. Oh, there's going to be plenty of bootlicks who are saying, see, y'all's is losing us support from fill in the blank. Y'all gonna ruin it for the rest of us. The reality is that for half a millennium, black subjugation has been an immutable fact of life, unchanging and unchallenged. In fact, the racial pyramid has been so solid that everyone else just takes it for granted. They simply can't imagine that it would ever change, especially not with the white media telling lies that everyone is equal now and we're all living in Dr. King's utopian post-racial society, more or less. Everyone knows this is a lie, but they also know that black people haven't pushed back against this in any substantive way in 50 years. So everyone has gone about their lives secure in the knowledge that black people have drunk the Kool-Aid, bought into the lie, and basically accepted our position as a permanent underclass. Why we're so used to it that we're not making any noise about it. But when they see us start to shake things up, a lot of people who are just so sure that things would never change will suddenly start getting worried. It's not that we will be making any new enemies. It's that the ones who were there all along will suddenly feel like they got to speak up and say something when they see that racialist pyramid start to shake and start to sway and realize the thing's coming down. That will be the biggest test of our resolve. Will we stand on principle, or will we lapse back into trying to keep everyone else from criticizing us? Will we at long last finally exercise what Dr. John Henrik Clarke called the essential selfishness of survival? Because the truth is, when it comes to fighting anti-black racism and ensuring our position, there's nothing extreme about that at all. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. Sherman Marshall, Reginald Caldwell, P. Jones, Andrew Murphy, and Jacques Hargett. Salute to them, and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.